Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we are looking at Hello Darkness issue 15. And this is written by Christoph Bogags for Imperfect Flesh, Abandoned by Jude Ellison S. Doyle, Reconquista, I don't know what that means. Written and illustrated by Rad. I Can't Take You Anywhere by the usual Robert Hack. And R.L. Stine is back with the life and death of Lucas Dreamwalker Part 2. So our story begins with a true sort of horror story about possession. A creature that possesses humans, but he only possesses them when they lack something, or they have the murderous thoughts perhaps, or evil thoughts, so that he can or they can control them. So he's trying to find the perfect flesh. So it starts with this woman who obsessed about killing, I guess, the CEO of a business, or I think that's correct, and she fascinated about doing it with a corkscrew. However, it's not perfect because now, after doing it, there is some sort of regret, remorse, and he leaves her to take over this child, perhaps sort of to get around, but this child seems void. However, he finds a better vessel, one that is been done over by the world time and time again, just knitting, and then she stabs him, but finds another one that goes to somewhere where perhaps things are slaughtered. Now, I love the twist of this story, because the twist is, after going to a slaughterhouse, this creature, rather than staying in humans where they can move around, he decides to possess a cow, one that it wants revenge on the humans, and ultimately doesn't escape, ends up in a slaughterhouse, and the only way it can transfer is to the next cow and sort of ends up screwing themselves over. But in the end, they don't feel anger, frustration, or malice. They just get on with it. Okay, so moving on to this next story. So the next story is back in Lake Abadon. It was a paradise once, and then what happened is, yes, that's right, us humans decided to do things on this earth. Perhaps rather than living with it, we created things that ended up damaging and destroying this once beautiful paradise, and the lake almost dried up, leaving the people of Abadon in a bad place and suffering. However, a body washes up on the shore, and they're trying to understand who's done it, who it could be, who's a criminal. However, more and more keep turning up, and eventually somebody comes and they capture them, and they discover that they were doing something with the water and some certain chemicals. However, the chemicals seems to be sort of alive and gets into everything and attacks everything and hurts everyone, and so forth and so forth. And basically they're all dead. However, the twist is they decide not to take it lying down. They get revenge by pouring it into another water, and water ends up everywhere, right? Travels around the world. So eventually, in every part of the world, it will eventually be abandoned, as the water kills us, essentially. This next story, I was trying to understand it. I'm not going to pretend I understand it. So you've got to sort of read within the line. So it looks like they are casting some sort of spell. That spell sort of creates this creature. There is a great big ball going on. They're drinking some nice wine. However, that wine is going to be washed with blood, as a creature feeds or dismembers and destroys the whole show. goes for a walk. That's how I'm deciphering it. And, well, let's just say a new little vampire is born. That's how I read that. Right, I'm glad that I'm getting all of this depression out of my system. As a kid, being an adult is gonna be smooth sailing. Move along to the next cartoon. Nothing to see here. You'll all be thanking me when I get that fly after he's murdered everybody. Lovely. So, R.L. Stine's Dreamwalker. So, Lucas is struggling to live with the reality that in his dream world he may die. And him and his colleague Rusty go to a bar. They've got a secret password to get in. And Lucas's girl, what's she called? Lena, is sitting on a gentleman's lap. That gentleman is called Keggs Driscoll. And once he shares another password, he can sit down and have a conversation. This ruins it, because this should be on the next page. They should have, R.L. Stine should have planned a bit better. Because what he does, he essentially sits Lucas into a seat, and he talks about the FBI being taken over by Hoover, very famous American FBI lead. And there's some hooch coming in, and Lucas is like, what's this? Why is that my business? You know, that's not what I get involved with. I'm sort of a detective. Anyway, the place gets shot to pieces, ultimately. And Lucas was the target. There was a reason why Keggs put him in that seat. It was completely not set up, at least with Lena being killed. They go on the run. They go after Keggs. There's a nice car chase here, as always. And they end up crashing. They go after him. However, he is betrayed by Rusty, his trusted colleague. And who says, I am the clever one. I'm the smart one. It's like Sherlock and his partner, you know. Watson. Is Watson the smart one? Could there be a bit of envy? It's like Batman and Robin. What if Robin killed Batman? It's that sort of dynamic, you know. Is a sidekick always a sidekick? He doesn't want to be a sidekick anymore in this story. So they go fighting, and he ends up, well, guess what? Getting killed in a dream, because he dreamed up this reality. And as such, he calls up Miss Clara, who gave him that vision. And he talks about the eyes that you gave me, the eyes of voodoo priests. Will they protect me? And she said the next dream could be your last. Anyway, Lena comes in, and it's McDonald's night. To be continued. So, yeah, I think I enjoyed that better than the first one. I think I really did enjoy that better than the first one. So, yeah, that was good. That was, I really enjoyed Hello Darkness. Sometimes it's difficult, because Hello Darkness is made up of collaborations of different writers. Sometimes it doesn't always pan out that they what's the word, they I'm trying to think of the words, that the stories are always going to be something that sits well with me. But today's flowed. I really enjoyed them. Once again, I feel like that first story I would have loved to have read more, but I enjoyed the twist. Same with the second story. I feel like there could have been more. It was quite a simple story, but I enjoyed the twist. It was nice and short, and that's what this should be. But, you know, the consistency of Dreamwalker as well is making it, it's not a patch on what War was at the beginning of these runs, but it gets the job done. So anyway, I hope you like my video. If you do, please do support my channel. Really would appreciate it. Make sure you look after yourself. Very, very important. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That would be great. Thank you, everybody that is subscribed. And embrace the geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.